first thing is let's visit the PHP MyAdmin and we'll create the animals database as an example. So here let's create the table. Let's just use dogs, and that's great. So let's have the ID as a primary key. Let's add the name, the age, and then here we can have the contact person of the dog. Let's just add another 2 columns. We'll have the date created, and this would be a daytime, and then the date updated. Let's save. So valid length, so this one. So now we have our database and sample tables. So let's create this folder inside the htdocs. So it's called animals. So if you refresh, we have now that folder, and then inside is, let's just open this folder in our code editor. So here let's create an index.php file inside that folder. Save, refresh. It is loading properly. So the first thing we need to do now is let's create a new file. Let's name it connection.php. So here let's write the connection script between the database. So the username is root, password is empty, and here the DB would be the animals. Now let's use MySQL type connection. So let's use server name, username, password, and DB. So here let's dump the connection. So if we visit, as you can see, it's successful. We have connected successfully, and if use the wrong database, it will return an error. So let's just in error handlers. So if connection has an error, then let's die and stop the script and show this message. Let's also show the error. So refresh, as you can see, we have that error. So now first file we need to create is the create.php file. So here let's write in simple HTML and have the body. So here let's characters set to UTF-8. Let's set the viewport for mobile. Set the content property device with initial equal to 1.0, and let's use create animal as our title, and then the link for our style sheet. So here let's create a container class, and then let's create a form, and inside the form we'll have let's capture the name of the animal. Then let's make this required. So let's check the columns. Here we'll have the age, and then the contact person. Just this contact. Save, refresh. We have nice inputs. So this style.css file, let's create this one, and then here let's start styling our page. So for the body, let's have font value, the margin, the padding, and the background color. Next is for the container, let's set the width to 80%, and let's center it using margin overflow auto, and then here the form, let's set the background color to white, padding and margin using 20px, and let's add the back shadow. Looking good now. So for the inputs, going to set the width to 100% and add the padding and margin, and also let's add a nice border, so it's looking good. And next is here we can add the submit button, and here let's add the style to the submit button. So if we hover, let's change the background color to this one, and then let's just update the style of our buttons. Set the background color to this color, and then let's add the padding and remove the border and pointer to cursors. So it's looking good. So next thing we need to do is let's add a PHP script above, so once we submit the form it will process the data. So first is we need to include our connection file. So to check if the form is submitted, you can use the server request method post. Then here under action, we're going to use the method post, and the action is create the PHP file, so the same file. So if we submit, as you can see, let's just echo, as you can see, form submission. Now here is going to get all the fields. We have the name, also the age. So we're going to use the global post variable. Then we'll have the contact person. Now let's dump the data. As you can see, they are captured. So here let's create the SQL query. So insert into dogs table, then here we'll have the name, age, the dog contact. So these are the table names, the column names, and then the values are the variables, the name, the age, the contact person. For the date, let's store also in variable. Can use this format. So actually you can just remove this one. We'll save the current date. This should be date. And then here let's run the query. So connection, so from the connection file, query SQL. So if it's true, then we're going to redirect the user to the index.php file. Else, then we're just going to show the error message, so we can get that using the error property. So if we refresh and try, so here we have an error. So name, age, so here should add the dog contact variable or the contact person variable. So let's try again. So it's showing, as you can see, it has been added to our database. So let's create the index. So actually we have already created that file. um, so let's just grab the so let's just update this one. Let's use view animals, remove that one, and then here we can remove this, and then we use table. So we can use the ID. We'll have the actions column. We'll have the date updated, date created, then contact person, then age, and then the name. And then here let's query the data from our database. So let's create the query. Select all from docs. Then the result, let's query them inside or store it in the result variable. So now we can start looping through the result using while loop. Then here let's add the end while statement. So if we just copy and let's just change this one with the correct value. So let's echo the row ID. It should be small r. And then here it should be a TD, and let's just paste, have the names, you can see, age, contact, the dog contact, and then for the date created and updated, we're going to format the date to become human readable. So using this one, the date function, and refresh. So let's use capital Y, date updated. So it's looking great. The last column, let's just add the action. So here we have the update and delete, and then here we'll have the link, the update.php file, and we can just pass the ID, the row. So this should be delete.php. So if we refresh, it's looking good, but you can improve the looks of this. Border maybe. So let's just go to style.css and add the style to the table. So for the TD, let's add a border, and then here you can just change the border. Let's just copy this color, and in order to collapse the border, it should be inside, and also it should add it to the header and align the cells to center. So add a padding. So this is looking good now. So let's just try to create another record. So tarc changes. As you can see, the table has been updated. So let's go to the update.php file. So the update.php file is basically the same with the create.php. So just update this one or remove some code. So here we need to get the ID value, and then we'll write a query. So we're going to get the row where the ID is equals to the parameter ID, so or the query parameter ID. So let's query the result and store it in a row. So if we dump this one, this should give us, so this should be connection, give us the data from the database. So below here we can use the value property to pull the individual data. So should have the name. Okay, let's wrap it any code. The age, and then the dog contact. So if we refresh, so if we click the update, as you can see, the data or fields are populated. So let's update the button, and the action should be update.php, and here we need to pass the ID parameters. So if we echo, let's just echo the ID here. So here, if need to know if the user submitted or updated the data, or click the update button. So for that, let's fix this issue. And as you can see, the ID is dumped or echoed by the app. So the same thing, we'll get the new values, and then here the query, we'll use the update operators. Set the name to the name, the age will be the age, and the contact person will be contact person, and the date updated is the date. And let's add the where, so it will update all the records. So if it's true, then let's redirect user to the index.php file, and then if it's wrong, then going to show an error and get or show the error. Yeah. So let's refresh and let's update. So there's an error, so this should be dog contact. Fresh. So if we update, as you can see, the data has been updated. So let's try this one. Here, data updated. So the age is not updated because it is integer, so that's why it doesn't update, but you can see it has been updated. So next and the last is the delete.php. So we're going to create the delete.php file, and so it's the same process. So we'll create the connection.php file, and we're going to get the ID passed from the link, and we're just going to write the SQL. So delete from dogs where ID equals ID, and we can just scrub this one, and let's try. So if we delete, so you can see it is removed from the table. So we have the update function. So let's try. So it's working. So let's create a new record, and it's been added. So let's try to add again another record, and it has been added. Now we can delete, and then let's update. So that's it. Thank you.